a cheeky confession. This is a re-recording of my intro for when I did my Frankenklein mod. So I can't help but say it that way, but I did a mod video, and I admitted in my previous video I did earlier this week, which is a video of thanks and giving you updates about the channel, is actually I made a mistake doing my mod video. And I thought I was going to, when I get the new bits back from my supplier that I need to redo, which is basically the crown stem, I was going to still say I made the mistake, but I was going to wait till I get the new bits and kind of just try and glaze over it. But I thought, you know what, no. You guys like my silly honesty. And I thought, no, I need to be honest here. Carry on with this honesty. And that is, I broke my ETA 2824 movement because, long story short, for the rest of this video, you're going to see, enjoy watching the mod. You still get to see what will ultimately be a success, but it will involve me having to wait for these parts to arrive after this video has been filmed and made. I'll do an update, but I wanted to show you I basically broke an ETA 2824 movement to throw it in the bin effectively because I cut the crown stem too short. It was an easy mistake to make. I'm not going to beat myself up too much. The bruises have just healed. But what I did is I cut the crown stem too short. It was an easy mistake to make, but this is the whole point of modding. I thought it's actually better for content to be honest and share with you that you are going to make these mistakes. And I was obviously really upset and devastated. I'd broken a movement, and the whole concept of the whole video was scuppered by that mistake, but it wasn't really, because luckily I had the ability to get hold of another one thanks to my good friend Jim. I panicked. I messaged him and said, Jim, I've fudged up this mod. I'm all a mess. I'm really upset. I said, have you got any spares of the Calvin Klein that I based this mod on? He said yes. So I bought it from him at cost price, so thank you, Jim. And I am going to redo it, but that's going to be off camera. I don't need to repeat the correct way to do it. I will do an update of how to correctly cut the crown stem, but for integrity, for honesty, enjoy this mod video because it's going to highlight what I did wrong, but it's also going to show you all the other things I did right, which is about 99.9% of it. And it's just annoying that last bit at the very end I was nervous about was what broke it. So I've waffled for nearly 3 minutes, but it's fair that I tell you all this because for you to enjoy the rest of this part of the video, you need to know what is to come and that Frankenstein or Frankenklein will be born and then will die shortly after. So let's get cracking. First job is to get on the finger cots, aka finger johnnies. So let's stick these on. And the whole point of putting these on is because your fingers have naturally got oils in them, and it's good to not get any of that natural oil on anything to do with the watch. That's why we do it. So, and it stops you getting smudges and grease or contamination. That's basically the main reason. So first thing we need to do, here's the cap. I've already taken the bracelet off because it was on a strap, which I put it on instead. But to remove the bracelet, it's easy. You use one of these spring bar removal tools. I treated myself to a nice one from Watch Gecko because I use it all the time because I'm always changing straps. So it's good to get a good one. And you've got a tip on the end of it. It's like a V shape, and that slots around the spring, which you can tuck in there, and you pull it down that way, and it helps. And you push with this finger underneath. Then it helps push the bracelet or strap up and away as you're releasing the spring. So it's a way of just popping it out, and then you just remove the strap that way, or the bracelet. So that's that explanation. I've got this holder here, which I'll be using more later on. Again, I got this on, I think this one was actually from eBay for about £5. It's perfectly acceptable. It's just a cushion. So it's a nice, easy way for you to take the movement out, which we'll be doing obviously very shortly. So need to get this back off. Not keeping this case for anything, so I'm not going to wrap a bag around it or protect it with anything. I'm going to try, I often use just this tool. I find this one I get on with really well. So what you often have on these push backs is sometimes there's a little tiny lip or a raised bit, which I think I can see. No, can't really see it. I don't think this one has it, where you could tuck a tool under. But in this case, I can use the lug here as a leverage point. So I've not done this on this watch before, so let's see how we get on. So you just tuck it in there, and you just wiggle it as you try and squeeze it in, and twist to get that pop. There we are. So you've got to do it quite firmly because it's been pressed in with a case back press. So that's it. We put that aside. We don't need that now. And there we have the delightful ETA 2824 movement with the Calvin Klein logo on the rotor. Now this is a high beat movement. These movements alone can cost hundreds of pounds. So to have got it for £80 with a free watch around it is incredible. So what I'm going to need to do, the first job, is to take the crown out. Now I'm just going to get my pin, which is what I use to remove crowns. So I use just one of these pins you get, because it's better than the other ones, because it's got something you can actually hold, and it's a nice bit to push your finger on. So there's normally a little hole. There we are. See there, you press there as you pull the crown and it pulls it out. The crown's already been pulled out to the time set. So you can feel ever so slight bit of springiness, because that is the mechanism for allowing you to pull this crown out. So you see how easy that was. So I'm going to put this aside, I don't need that anymore. Put that with the other bits over there, and you place that aside. So now the watch movement is attached to the movement holder, which is this ring. As you see, that either side are these two movement holder tabs. So what we do is we get our very small, again I bought this, you're going to get to hear this a lot today, you can get everything on Amazon. I got this as a set of 3 or 4 screwdrivers, doesn't cost much. This is the 1mm one, and what I do is I loosen off these screws. You don't have to take them fully out, it's just enough. So effectively, I've loosened them off, not taking them fully out, just enough so I can slide. If you see it popped over these little tabs which hold it into the case. So now we can put this here, turn it over, and there we are. We'll get rid of that, we don't need that anymore. Now as the time's moved over, I'm just going to be anal and move it back over again. Now I'm going to get these hands off. The way we do that is, because I'm not keeping this dial, I'm not worried about protecting it. I'm in fact going to have other plans for this dial. It involves pleasing one of my viewers, and that'll be burning it. No, I won't really. It's not nice. So get these levers, which again I bought these on Amazon. Let's get them move this light around. Got these levers from Amazon, and as you can see, they're an angle where you slide underneath. Get some focus, and then you lever like that, and it pops the hands off. So let's do that. Easy as that. And I'll show you why you always, when you're going to keep a dial, you see how easy it can scratch when doing that. See, it's got scratches, but I really don't care about that. So now we should be able to pop this dial away from the movement. Not sure. Okay, what I'm going to do first, I'm going to take the movement holder away in case that's impeding things. See, the movement holder comes away. Put that aside, don't need that anymore. Now this bit is not easy, I warn you. To remove the dial, before you try and yank it off, it isn't push fit. These ETAs I'm just learning. There's these little tabs here that hold the feet. The feet are about between 2 and 3 o'clock position, and are between the 5 and 6 position, I think it is, the opposite side. So here, you have to basically get your screwdriver in here and it pops out. So that's now done. And there's the same the other side, as you can see, there's that one popped out as well. Unless you know where it is, you're never going to get the dial off, you're going to damage everything. There we are. little bit of leverage just to finish it off. So now it's time to put the new dial on. Ta-da! Now, this line, as long as I line the first foot up, I could then get the other one in. Now, just to make sure, I need to click those feet holder clips back into place. So there we have it. Push those feet in. Very careful. Took my time. I didn't want to record all of the timey fiddling because it's something that you have to be so careful with. Take your time. So that lever just pushed back in. You feel it just gently gripping in. Same the other side. And as I haven't killed the movement. The movement's still alive. It was almost dead anyway, so it's just occasionally going to start running again because the rotor's moving. And now we're at the stage where I need to put the hands back on. There it is. There's the hour hand. And I'm going to use my Rodico Burgeon. This is great stuff for picking things up, so you don't have to try and do anything too delicately. So I use it to pick up the hand. I'm going to carefully position it into the 12 o'clock position. And then I can have my carbon fibre tweezers ready to gently allow it to come off the blue tack or the Rodico. Don't use blue tack. So if my commentary is a bit squiffy, this is fiddly. So I don't want to mess out because this is my most expensive mod to date. And I just want to get it right, guys. So let's get it at the 12 o'clock. Actually, these hands are meant for this dial. Look how perfectly that 12 hour hand lines up on the inner hour ring. It's perfect. So then, use my hand pressing tool, again, got from Amazon. Gently push in the middle. Make sure you're even with pressure. You feel it just seating on. And this is where you just check you've got it fitted okay. Now it's ready for the minute hand. So I'm going to get that out of the packaging and then we'll do the same. So same again, place the minute hand at the 12 o'clock. Same again, gently press in the middle. It's where we can check. It's all seated okay. Everything lines up. And this is where we do a test as well. So you wind it all forward. So it lines up on the hour. It's good. It's good just to keep on top of puffing. Going to pick up tiny bits. If you get any bits that are stubborn to remove, you can pick them up, dab them with the Burgeon, the Rodico. Now let's do the last hand, which is often the hardest because it's so fiddly and tiny, but this should be okay actually. Let's give it a go. It's the seconds hand. Then the moment of truth is when you push that crown back in, the second hand keeps going. There we are. So let's get this back to there. To check everything lines up. Nothing. Good time now is to check nothing snags with anything. So see the hands clear each other. The hour hand isn't rubbing on the dial, and the minute hand doesn't rub the hour hand. So oh, my candle's dripping behind me. I've got to blow my candles out. I wonder what that noise was. So I was going to blow my candles out. So now guys, I need to take this out and put it in my case. Now, due to having severe OCD, I decided to spend about 10 minutes making sure that glass is perfect on the inside and the out, because there was dust in there because of the paper that was supposed to be protecting it, just left residue. So I'm going to put these movement holder screws back in to hold the movement holder into this whole assembly. So this whole assembly can be put, have the case put around it. So I'm just going to put those screws back in. I use my Burgeon to pick them up and place them as close as possible and then screw them back in. So now that this is all seated in place, it's good to just double check everything lines up by placing the crown in As you see, it all goes in nicely and very easily. So that's in its innermost position. So the distance I need to measure for cutting off the crown is going to be the following. So the way I understand you measure it is you're going to measure the distance between the case and the bottom end of the crown. So I measure that as exactly 6 mil, because that's on its innermost position, but there is innermost position, sorry, not innermost. That spring loaded is to allow for the last bit of, as you screw it in, if there's any more give. But this is on the innermost position, so it's 6 mil. So that's what I should take off of the other end of this crown. So let's give that a go. I'm very nervous, by the way. I'm going to mark it with a pen, and that is the exact point in which I need to cut this length of this stem down. So where I've left a black line, I need to remove the line, and that takes it to 6 mil. Let's double check. It's always good to double check. Yeah, now it's time to snip. I bought these. These are multi-purpose cutters. So I'm going to line up with the other end of my drawn line. That's snipped off. So I test it, screw the crown back on. I think I've cut the stem. I made an error of cutting it a little bit too much off. So it's fine for now, but I will get another stem. And I know what to do now is to not cut quite as much off. But I made that error of cutting a little bit too much off. You saw I measured it, I marked it, I cut it. It's just one of those things. But unscrews nicely. Yeah, put it out, do the time, no problem. Then just doesn't feel right screwing back in. So it's good enough for now. It's good enough for the mod, but I will order a new stem. It's like $5 for a pair, so I can give it a go. So here we have it, guys, the completed article. Frankenklein is born. Now this was a really hard project for me, really hard. It makes me realise how easy the cheaper made watches are to work with. This was a steep learning curve for me, but one mistake I've made is probably the length of the crown stem. It's literally the first one I've ever done, but it's not catastrophic. It's not failed. I've built the watch and I know what I've got to do to rectify it. It's buy another crown stem, and it's don't have to do the whole build again, which is great. Just take it out and take less off each time, because this I did take too much off. So let's have a look at this watch. You're going to need to know how good this loom is. So without further ado, let's see how good this is. It is outstanding. It's the upgrade I was looking for. I've got all of these parts from Helena Ru over in China, and I upgraded for AR coated domed sapphire glass, and it's all got extremely good loom. As you can see, C3 loaded on the hands, the dial, everything is fully loaded. It's fantastic. So we've made a case-sized watch, a Larco Flieger Homage, 43 case size. It's got a lovely big crown. It's 7mm crown. The thickness is 12.6. The lugs are 20. The lug to lug is 53. So you can see as well on the back, it's all bead blasted finish. It's lovely. And the only thing that remains Calvin Klein, is just a reminder of what we've achieved, is the Calvin Klein rotor. But we have the Swiss ETA high beat movement in there, in far more attractive watch. And I went for the proper pilot style strap from Yokota with the blue stitching to complement the blued hands. So it just works so well. So let's see what it's like on my wrist. What a beautiful transformation, guys. I'm so pleased with that. Aside from the little crown issue, the crown stem, it works. It's ticking away. And I'm so proud of what I've achieved here. It just shows if you give it a go and be willing to make mistakes, you can make something you really, really want to be proud of, and you can wear. So let's have another look. Check out that. Flake coating on the side. The case, it gets beautiful finishing. I think the overall cost of these parts was over £100 for all the parts I bought together. But considering what I've built here, the equivalent Larco or type of Flieger watch with all this spec would be £300 or £400, if not more, maybe £500. And I built it for, so about £200 if you really stretched your budget. You've got a very nicely specified, beautifully finished watch. And you could say you built it yourself, but it is hard. That dial coming off was not easy. The hands are okay. I actually found that the easiest part. Cleaning that crystal, because it had fluff and dust under it, that took me ages. And then doing a slight fudge up with the crown stem was also a bit of a fiddle. So you need to see with honesty how easy it is for you to get it right and get it not wrong, but struggle a bit. And give myself credit. It's come out. It's working. The watch is still beating away. Franken Klein is born. Guys, thank you so much for watching. It's been a pleasure sharing this mod build with you. It's been a long time coming. Been waiting for all the bits to arrive. Now I've got to wait longer to get it perfect, to get more bits like the new crown stems. But in the meantime, I'm going to enjoy this watch. And if you'd like to see more, don't forget to subscribe. Hit the like button. Do share your comments. I pretty much read every single one. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye for now.